had the streets empty, so no one knows what the real number is, right? But just how many people do you have to feed?
No, and even and I think I said this earlier. Didn't I tell you that there was they call them the Monsanto papers or whatever, and in a FOIA request, there's this leaked document between the head of the EPA and Monsanto, where this individual says, if I get this done for you guys, you owe me a medal.
Yeah,
I say that. Okay,
yeah,
I can remember. Then there's the whole Coca-Cola aspect of it too.
The point is, in LA, no one's growing anything.
Yeah.
So
they're just all.
So you have 20 million people jammed into an area where the only thing that's growing is weed. Yeah. It's the only thing that anyone's growing in LA. Imagine if you get people so excited about tomatoes and oranges as you do about weed. Yeah. You know, and everybody's like, look at my tomato plants.
Even what you talked about a bunch is hunting. Like, so many people are out of touch with the reality of what it takes to create food. No, I'm just saying, like, even where their food comes from.
Well, where their food comes from, for sure. So the problem, what I was getting at, is that I think we have set ourselves up where our population numbers in areas like Los Angeles and New York are so great that you almost need factory farming to provide those people with enough nutrition to stay alive. Mm-hmm. Like, it gets that weird. Because if you get to numbers, right, if you get to 20 million humans that aren't growing food, right, so they need to get somebody else, they've
and in those situations, normally the guy that's going to go around it will be the one that will find success. I want to see how this plays out.
That shot is blocked by Anderson. Well, perhaps a sign of things to come as he lands a kick there.
It's in the name. It's big.
Looking to land the leg kick now. Oh, is that a big move? The body will see
pushed off to someone else the responsibility of acquiring food. All they have to do is give them currency to get that food. That is a new thing with human beings. This is a new thing. It's a new thing where we do that with enormous populations. And then, so what's the solution? The solution is one of the most immoral and unethical solutions that anyone has ever come up with anything. Stuff a bunch of animals into a fucking warehouse, have them piss and shit into a giant pond that you have outside that literally is probably poisoning the air around it for miles, and then spray the fuck out of this monocrop agriculture because you've completely distorted what nature is, and you've got 1,000 acres of corn. Like, that never happens in the world. And all the animals and all the plants are supposed to kind of like intermingle in an ecosystem, and for profit you've decided to like set up this fucking Frankenstein lab where you just spray death juice all over the fucking corn, and then you subsidize the farmers so that corn syrup is in goddamn everything, including fucking salad dressing, you know, and then you have canola oil, which is really just rapeseed oil, and it's a disgusting fucking industrial lubricant that you're pretending is heart healthy. And like, this is the system that we're in right now. Yeah. And most people, you know, there's a giant percentage of people that have been educated by traditional media that think that everything that I'm saying is conspiracy theory nonsense from bro science, which I am bro science. Since I have a degree in bro science. But this is all just real, folks. You're fucking poisoned. And if you continue to eat that way, you're going to be doomed. Your body's going to fall apart. That's just a fact. We know it. We all know it. Processed food diets are just, there's no one that can say they're good for you. Here's the question. Do we have enough stake in this? Do we have enough people's understanding of the dire consequences where we can have a real conversation about how do we feed all these people ethically and morally? Because right now we have ag-gag laws where if someone, like I say, if you work at some slaughterhouse or someplace, you're not allowed to film the atrocities that you see. Yeah, there's laws. Yeah, you will go to jail. So if you show up at one of those horrible pig farms where they got these pigs like stuffed next to each other and shitting through grates, and then that, you ever seen that?
I've seen that.
Oh,
yeah.
If you filmed that and put it on TikTok, like, this is where your bacon comes from, you go to jail. You go to jail.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if they're abusing the animals, like there's videos of guys that are working in slaughterhouse, like beating cows over the head and kicking them when they're down and slicing their throats and letting them squirm around. Those kind of videos, you'll go to jail. No consequences for the people that are doing it. Because here's the other dirty secret. Here's the other dirty secret. Where do you think they get their employees from? If you're gonna run a disgusting, unethical, immoral business, who are you gonna hire? First of all, it's disgusting, dirty work. Nobody wants to smell pig shit all day. Who are you gonna hire? Well, you're gonna hire people that snuck into the country because you don't have to have documents on them. You don't have to pay them any kind of health care. You don't have to give them any kind of benefits. You don't have to give jack shit. So you benefit from keeping that fucking border wide open. And these people that publicly talked about this, we need the labor in this country because they're doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. Well, you should really ask yourself, do we need those jobs? And do we need to be doing it the way that we're doing it where those jobs are a necessity in 2025? Or are we captive to an evil industry that cares more about money than it does about humans, which is demonic?
Well, I think you see the history throughout all industry.
But it's always a battle of good and evil, and that's what we have to understand. Like, don't lose faith. Like, oh my God, the people suck. No. A small amount of people suck, and some of those people get power, and then they control massive amounts of people who mostly don't suck. Most people don't suck.
Here's the thing, and we've talked about this, but I swear to God, like when Denny's came on the Ways Well to help me start this thing almost 10 years ago, our conversation was, if we keep our moral compass, if we make this about people, this is the hand God truth, man. This isn't,
hey brother, I love you. You don't have to tell me. This is one of the reasons why you're on this. You're a really good person, like a genuinely good person, and I've seen you interact with. I've seen you. I've talked to people that I knew, but that you maybe didn't know that I knew them independently, and they've told me they've had amazing experiences. You're a good guy. I know, and you're making good money, but your mindset is so on the money. Like, do the best that you can for people, and all the other stuff will fall into place. Like, the problem with corporations is that you can't function like that. You have an obligation to your stakeholders. So even if you're a good person, which I think most of those people are probably good people that have been co-opted, and then there's this diffusion of responsibility because they're part of a gigantic corporation. Maybe I don't like what's going on. Maybe I don't like what we're doing. But hey,
it gets
all
hard.
I can do is affect what I do around me. Like when you're a defense lawyer and you're helping someone get off and you know he's a murderer. Yeah. And you have to help. Because this is your job. Like the guy stabbed his wife and you have to pretend he didn't.
I can even have empathy for that because this is hard, like even running this company. I'm under attack.
And of course, the seminal moment, that big knockdown that nearly got his opponent out of there. Almost finished the fight.
All the drama, all the analysis.
Here we go. 5 minutes remain in the fight.
Beautiful kick.
Our free retirement planner shows you where you stand how you can meet your goals. Sign up today at Empower.com.
I mean, we have 500 employees. I'm battling the FDA. I'm battling the state of Texas. We're worried about the DEA and it changing telemedicine law. But then you still have competition. And beyond market pressure from Big Pharma, there's other compounding pharmacies, there's other telemedicine companies, there's other telemedicine apps, there's other AI-driven, and you're sitting here and I'm watching what the market's doing and I disagree with it. And I've stepped my ground, and if I'm wrong, I let down 500 people. If I get this wrong, I disappoint and let down 500 fucking people that believed in me, that took a leap of faith, that have worked at these companies, because I have refused to outsource care. What I have seen when I came on this podcast, I guess almost 4 years ago now, the first time, we had this boom. We had only managed like 7,000 patients. I go on here and 20,000 people try to register in like a day. And I'm like, holy shit. And people are like, you guys suck, and why can't you be in my state? And I'm like, because to get into your state is a lot more complicated. The way my competitors are doing it is they're just outsourcing to a telemedicine doc that has no training in this disease state. And that, to me, is no different than Big Pharma. If we're going to just push pills and one-size-fits-all approach, how is that medicine? That's not predictive, preventative, and personalized. And the vision of this company was to be predictive, preventative, and personalized. And I've had people try and buy us out, and I've had people offer to buy us out, and I could take a payday, but I look at that and I go, we're barely scratching the surface, and the day I sell, this thing is no longer what it is.
No.
I really believe that. It's just going to be a money thing.
You don't have to say any of what you just said, because I know that you would never do that. I know who you are. And to speak to the level of personalization you guys do, I get vitamins that are personally adjusted to whatever my blood work is. And that's what I take now. I take Ways to Well vitamins. I take 8 of them. I just throw them in my mouth, swallow them all at once. Some people think that's gross. It's easy for me. I got
no
a big
water,
mouth.
Nothing?
Oh, I drink water for
sure.
Like
you're just raw talking.
No. How would you even do that? I couldn't even swallow one without water.
I know people who will just swallow a bunch of pills. I can't do it. I have to sip one pill at a time.
They have no water.
Oh, man, Justin Rim, when he would take his vitamins, he would just throw like a whole handful in and just swallow them. I'm like, how do you do that,
No
dude?
water?
Yeah, I know he's a huge human, but Jesus.
Yeah, that's Viking genes. They're used to eating mushrooms that way when they would go on berserker raids. But that's all I have to take now. And I'm going to get my new blood work soon, see where everything's at. I think I'm going to add a bunch of stuff back in, particularly niacin, and then a bunch of other stuff that I was taking that really seems to have worked in terms of stopping macular degeneration, age-related macular degeneration. I think that and the red light therapy has worked. I don't use reading glasses anymore when I read my phone.
Hell, man.
That's nuts.
And GHK and BPC and stem cells and all of these things have benefits in every one of those aspects. There was that study out of Europe, I think we covered it last time, for degenerative eyesight loss in using red light therapy.
Yeah, my eyesight is still not the best. Like, if I put a pair of readers on, I can see better, but I have no problem reading. It's just like a little fuzzy, but not to the point where I can't read things anymore. But it was getting worse.
Yeah.
It was getting significantly worse, like...
Battery is low.
A decline, like, fuck, man, I can't see shit anymore. And then I started wearing reading glasses. I've stopped that. Yeah. So it's not stopped in its tracks, but my eyesight has gotten better. Which is, nobody thinks that's possible. Ask most ophthalmologists, like, what? You're going to take vitamins, and you're going to, like, stare at the red light?
Well, it makes sense because all of these things are in an effort to refuel ATP, and eyesight and ocular degeneration requires an immense amount of ATP, and as our cells begin to degrade, those are the first cells that are going to go and begin to lose their functionality.
Yes.
And so if we can refuel ATP and maximize ATP, then we can optimize your chances at these degenerative things not occurring, and that's my whole point of these building blocks. Peptides, stem cells, amnion, purified, all of it, PRP, you name it. All of these things are tools in the tool belt that aren't readily available or even talked about in traditional medicine. And it's not because your doctor or clinician's a bad guy or girl. It's because they're in an insurance model, and insurance doesn't cover any of these things.
Exactly. And that's the real problem in this country, that everything has been co-opted by businesses, and it's not the right path towards your health. And there is a path towards your health, and we have to fucking light the way. We have to say, hey, this road that we're on, do you know goblins built this road? Do you know this road leads to the fucking goblin house? Yeah, guys, I know a way around to the enchanted forest. Exactly. Go this way.
Our mutual friend, I asked him and his mom if I could talk about this, Jesse Michaels. So Jesse's dad is older, and he's suffering from dementia. And they flew down here. I said, just get him down here. And again,
when you've got smoke-free satisfaction, you've got the freedom to do things your way. Get $20 off your first 5 cans of Zyn when you take the Zyn 10 Challenge.
Oh, the Zyn 10 Challenge!
Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Want your video to stand out? Go to motionarray.com.
It's very nuanced. We did a lot of things. He was here for 3 days. They're academics. Jesse's brilliant. You can tell that kid's brilliant, but his parents are brilliant too. They're psychologists. And so both his parents are psychologists, and his dad's battling dementia and has had a cognitive decline. And they came in, and his mom was a mega skeptic. And On day 3, she came into the clinic with tears in her eyes, hugged Veronica, hugged the team, which I gotta thank the team that is here in Austin, because those people are under. I love my team. They're the magic. They're the magic, not me. And she hugged us and cried and said last night, this stuff makes me emotional because I believe it. I've seen it. I believe it. I'm a believer. You're never going to change my mind. I don't give a shit what these people are saying at the federal level. This stuff is life-changing. They witnessed it. She, tears in her eyes, hugged the team and said, last night, I had my husband. If nothing else,
what did you do?
This is all we get out of this. We did stem cells. We did. He was there for the 3-day experience, which was like hyperbaric, cellular therapy, peptides, hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, like what we do with all these folks. And we systematically red light. We did all of it. But he's here for a 3-day experience, and we run him through these things just to see if we can launch him into like a healthier space, going back home, reduce inflammation, help with all of these different aspects. Hit him with GHK, hit him with BPC, hit him with stem cells, all of these different peptides and building blocks. Anyway, she literally was in tears and hugged the team and said, for the first time in a long time, I had my husband. It was like golden. It's like we talked, we laughed, we hugged. I had my husband. And she said, if it's just that, if all I get out of this is that one night, thank you. And I talked to Jesse, and he's like, my dad's doing the best he's done in months. I'm not saying that these things are going to cure dementia. I'm not saying any of that.
Dude, if I had dementia and that happened, I would move to Austin. I'd be camped out right next to your fucking building. What time are you guys opening? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
but so many people think there's no hope. And people with obesity, like Django. And look at him.
It's incredible.
He's gone from walking to now he can run. Now he's playing pickup basketball games.
He carries that stupid rock.
Yeah, I saw that.
He did. Because he did that like
with
top.
Cam.
Yeah, he went up to the top of Mount Picture. He was on Lift Run Shoot. He was amazing. Yeah. He's such a sweet soul of a human being. He really is.
He's the nicest guy.
And he looks like a criminal. A full criminal. Fucking tattoos all over his face. Looks so sketchy, but he's so sweet. Yeah, he's such a good dude. And the
he's going to be on the cover of Men's Health and GQ.
That's incredible. It's incredible. Well, what he's done is super, super inspirational.
And I hope it motivates other people. Like, you can get the weight off. It doesn't have to be a GLP-1. It doesn't have to be. And even those, like, this is where it's nuanced. Like, I understand the backlash against GLP-1s, but when titrated down and unique and proprietary to a dosage unique to that patient, and when stacked with things like hormone optimization and, IGF, we can burn that fat off and maintain lean muscle mass, and we'll quantify it because we have a DEXA at the clinic. So anybody who comes in, we run through a DEXA now. We know their lean muscle mass, their body fat, and preserve muscle. Because I would argue more important to getting the body fat off, and this is the pivot that I tried to get Jelly Roll to and other folks, that fat's going to come. Let's focus on building muscle. If we can build muscle and help build leg strength and help put muscle on your frame, that is going to increase your metabolic burn rate. That is going to put you in a better position for long-term health. Don't make it all about the scale. Make it about the body composition and how can we transition that composition to optimize lean muscle, minimize visceral and subcutaneous fat. But we don't want to give up a pound of this. Keep all. It's a motherfucker to put that muscle back on. You don't want to lose that muscle.
Yeah, even with hormone optimization.
Oh, he got absolutely bludgeoned. That's as good a combination as we have seen out of him.
If you don't,
the last time I saw a combination is good.
This is not a good thing. It's not virtuous to be weak. And this is a problem with, we were talking about masculinity earlier. Yeah, hyper awful masculinity is like, they show up at a boat, they kill everybody. Like that.
Shane Gillis is good on Vikings.
But that would be terrifying. Yeah, that's what it works. But I think that everyone was gay right then. When you read about the Spartans, like, hey, is anybody gay? And then you're like, Socrates. I think it was different back then. I think the concept of gay and straight is fairly new. And back then, everybody just fucked everybody. Sure. Just like chimps do. chimps, like bonobos, you ever watch the bonobos? They have one rule: the mom won't fuck the son. That's it. Everybody's fucking. Everybody else is fucking everybody.
And there was chimpanzees in that. Was that bonobos? Those were bonobos.
No.
What was that shit?
Yeah. Bonobos they're a weird hippie like cousins.
I heard you've been talking about Jesse's deal with the tridactyls. And then you said, I think we talked about it. You watched the one on Homo Letty, that bipedal primate that buried the dead deep in caves. We know nothing.
Well, we're learning, but it's a scattered. It's not like, oh, we found the log book. We know what happened at every step of the way. No, we're finding like little pieces of evidence from a burnt down building. Like, what is this? Oh, this looks like. I think this is like.
Well, maybe Gary Nolan one too. I haven't heard it yet. Where's your head at now?
Whoa! What a pussy! Pussy fucking bang!
Is working hard to manage migraine one big note? It may be time to say yes to Vyepti. Vyepti is an IV infusion that helps prevent migraine attacks. Chronic migraine patients saw 23 fewer migraine days on average per treatment, and it's just 4 30-minute IV treatments a year. Don't take if you're allergic to Vyepti. Common side effects are allergic reactions, stuffy nose, and scratchy throat. Allergic reactions include rash, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, or throat, trouble breathing, cramps, and redness of the face. Ask your neurologist about Vyepti.
Imagine being you and sucking that much cock.
And associates. Cars are smarter than ever. Bad drivers, not so much. When you've been injured in an accident, do the smart thing. Even the smartest cars can't stop you from getting hit by a bad driver. What you can't.
Your dumbass can't hang on the feet if you tried, bro. That's why you wrestle, because you pussyfoot.
Clients' rights for more than 25 years and won millions for injured people just like you. Do the smart thing and call me today. Call attorney.
Yeah, you a pussyfoot.
Now.
You a big ass pussy.
From a material science perspective, which is what Gary was here for. Well, Gary's here to talk about his cancer research, first of all, which is
here we go.
And then amazing stuff. Very interesting. Then we started talking about how this was sort of an accidental introduction. Someone brought in evidence of some kind of.
Okay, but I won the first fight, faggot. You ain't do shit to get a rematch win. You ain't do shit to get a rematch win, faggot. You ain't do shit to get a rematch win, faggot. You didn't do nothing. You ain't come up on top or nothing, bro. You did nothing. Nothing impressive. You're not impressive. Garbage. Actual garbage. Garbage. Baby diaper full of shit. Baby diaper full of shit and piss.
In Brazil, it was made out of almost pure silica. But the magnesium, the ratios, the isotope ratios in the magnesium had to be from a place that was experiencing what is the equivalent of a neutron bomb going off every 2 minutes for 900 years. Right. Like, this is not, like, this would be hyper difficult to make today. Not saying it's impossible. This is what he's saying. Like, the odds of someone making that in 1950... What are you talking about? And then there's this alloy that they found where there's layers at like an atomic level, that this has been like a 3D printed alloy with like levels of these metals that don't occur organically. And this is from 1970. Like, this is impossible today. With human beings in 2025. No one's making that shit. There's not a fact. You would know. Someone would have heard about it, unless there's some blacklisted military operation deep in the Nevada mountains that no one knows about, that's doing some crazy super funded shit that they lie to Congress about. Okay, maybe, but in 1970 were you doing that? Did you have that alloy in 1970 that we can't make today? That seems unlikely. So something's going on.
Well, and your podcast with Representative Luna, I mean, I know she's on the political side, but I was listening to that and I'm like, to have a congresswoman saying these things, and then even Tulsi came out.
She was talking about Tulsi. Intradimensional beings, and I was like, "What are you saying?" You know, do you know why I reached out to her to have her on the podcast? Because she made a tweet about the description of angels, what angels look like. She was,
I didn't even see it.
And I was like, "Whoa!" I go, "Did you tweet this?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "We didn't want to talk to me about this." And we never even talked about it. We never even got into the conversation. Funny. But we got into aliens. And we got into, which You know, I think that good and evil are real things. I think they're real things. And I think there's this very big struggle, both on a micro and a macro scale. I think internally there's a battle of good and evil. You know when you want to do something good, but you can get away with doing something bad. The right thing to do is to do the good thing. And then you feel better because of it. This is like a weird... It's not like it's impossible for you to go into evil. If the situation was that you were, you know, in another time, in another part of the world, in a horrific war, and you had to raid a village because everyone else is raiding the village, and you have to kill everybody because everybody else is killing everybody. That's a part of us. There's a real struggle between figuring that out. I wonder if that exists with some other beings from somewhere else. And this is where you get into biblical depictions of gods and angels and demons. And you go, well, what are we really talking about? If these people were trying to write something down to represent a real event that took place, we're looking at it in the framework of a society that believes in aliens because we've experienced space travel. We know how to fly in planes, we know how to fly to the stars, and we know where this goes. We know where this goes. This goes to a better place where you get really good at it when then you come visit us, right? So we know that. But back then they didn't know that. They didn't know anybody could fucking fly, right? So if they're experiencing angels who literally fly, and devils, and these fucking things that they find, like the Brazilian one from Virginia smells like sulfur. Is that weird? Like that's what demons supposedly
like
smell?
Wild stories, all of those stories, and then demons you go like that in even biblical scripture, like the Book of Enoch, which I know isn't like technically.
I'm reading that right now. I've got it on audiobook right now. I'm listening to it every day. It's fucking bananas.
It's
the Watchers who came down from the sky to
gave
mate
knowledge
with
to Enoch, took him into space, and gave him knowledge of agriculture and architecture and. You're like, what?
Also sorcery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is probably technology.
Onyx Off-Road is bringing you the ultimate multi-day off.
Yeah,
it would be the people in the
100%.
So confident in all of his skills. He don't care what.
I think this is. I think we are in a stage of our society where the growth is experiencing this confrontation with our nature. Like the growth of intelligence, the growth of awareness is experiencing this battle with the fact that wars are still going on. I think this is why, like, there's a lot of shock in some circles about the public's backlash against what's happening in Gaza. Like, almost like they can't understand. Like, you can understand. How is this possible? Someone's upset. You're fucking telling me this is the only way in 2025 human beings can behave? Where you can bomb women and children, and any opposition to that is anti-Semitic. That's not flying. You can't do that. This is so we are evolved, but we're not there yet. We're not at a place where we have no war. We're not at a place where there's no more murder. We're not at a place where you don't have to send the National Guard into Chicago because there's 54 fucking shootings in a weekend. So if I was an alien civilization, I would wait. I would do what we're doing right now.
I almost view it as a test. I've said this recently. I don't remember who else, but in my mind, I look at it as kind of like what Graham Hancock says. What if we reached a level of knowledge and sophistication, but there's a reset button? And I know the cataclysmic events and all those things, and we know that happens. We know it happens, I think, every 70,000 years. There's that. It's historically going to happen. But separate from that, when we look at the cosmos, and we say, once you have the ability to generate a certain level, reach a level 2 society, and you reach that level 2 society, then you can create enough energy to bend space and time, and in theory, you could fold time and traverse the cosmos.
Yeah.
Okay, what if the reason there's not an exorbitant amount of intelligent life in the universe or the cosmos is you have to reach a certain level of spiritual accountability and knowledge and maturity before the technological advancement supersedes that or advances past it, right? Because right now, if you gave us infinite power,
yeah,
we're going to be fucking dead.
Well, we kind of,
it's terrifying.
We're actually in that situation when it comes to
this is a very close fight.
we're about to kill everybody over, and yet we're still making everybody in the planet we get killed, and we're still so stupid that we haven't planned it. Right? So if I was an alien, I would win. I think that makes sense that you have to achieve some sort of spiritual connection, but that is just assuming that you stay human, and that human is the only way to go. You know, there's this very highly criticized video of Peter Thiel, which is kind of funny. No, that's another one. Also, it kind of like looks a little too shiny to be a regular person. It's a little too slippery looking, so that's reptilian. But he's a thoughtful person, and when I was asking him any question on the podcast, he has these long pauses before he answers. It's a part of his speech pattern, part of his thinking. The problem is he did that with the question of should the human race survive. This guy was like, the answer they should, right? So the guy was like pressing him, talking to him like he's a regular person, instead of just letting this air out, letting it, are you pressed for time? You're gonna have fucking an hour and a half to talk to this guy. Let him talk. But the problem is, we are awesome. And I love all the things that we do. I love how we create art and food, and we create fun with each other. I love human beings. I love our creative ability. I love all the things about us. But this is not the only way that a life form can exist. And the idea that we have to stay this forever, although I love us, seems kind of silly. This is like going back to Australia kids that just live, bro, fucking sticks and stones for life, bro, fuck a house, okay, bro? I'm down with that. No, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. And what's the next logical step for an organism that is experiencing technological advancements far beyond anything that any other organism on the planet is coming to work with? We're way out there. What's the next logical step? We'll abandon everything that ruins us. So what ruins us? All this we were talking about earlier. What does all this come from? This comes from famine thinking. This comes from tribal thinking, us versus them. This comes from trying to acquire resources because you want to stay alive. All those things have been hijacked. All these human reward systems have been hijacked and monetized and then stuck into this corporate structure where you have to make more money every quarter. It's crazy.
Well, and back to psychedelics. When you do psychedelics, ego shades and you go...
If you're launching a new business or have been successfully running one for years, finding the best insurance coverage for your commercial vehicle is crucial. Whether your business is landscaping, cleaning, construction, plumbing, home improvement, or food trucks, a commercial auto insurance policy can help protect you and your business. When it comes to finding the perfect partner for your commercial auto insurance needs, look no further than Infinity Insurance Agency. We go the extra mile by accepting foreign licenses, offering discounts for various criteria, such as having prior coverage, paid in full, and multiple insured vehicles. Our agents can help with customizable coverages, payment options, and policy discounts to help you find an insurance policy that works for your budget. Even if you have a less than perfect driving record, IIA can help you find policies tailored to your specific situation. Secure your business on the road with IIA, your trusted partner in commercial auto insurance.
There, DC. Now we'll see if she can follow it up.
Landed it beautifully. She's so fast. That's right. No wind up, no tell, so her opponent does not see it coming. It's such a fast leg kick.
Oh man, that cut is getting worse by the minute. Look at Gasly at this point.
You have been extremely understanding to me dealing with my personal struggles.
His head kick is blocked, so no damage inflicted there. Back and forth we go.
Well, because of my tummy.
91 total strikes have now landed for Rose Namajunas. And landing with 43% accuracy against Cloud Chikadillo.
You don't feel it. You're like pinned against the wall.
I mean, that is a big shot to the head. I cannot believe she's still standing.
This is truly shocking.
Oh, she's looking to set up that head kick. No good. Well, she was a little bit hesitant in round 1, but she has certainly picked up the pace here in this second round. It took her a while to find her range. She's in a strong striking rhythm now.
A day without pain.
How good a job does she do defensively? Protect that head, raise the guard. A lot of good things in there.
Yep, hands up, chin down. She's got a perfect position for defensive boxing.
And she lands the knee to the body now.
Great punch, Lynn.
Questioning whether I am the fighter that you thought that I was.
That's a beautiful escape from reversal fire there.
Unbelievable sweep. She did a fantastic job of manipulating the weight to change position.
Medallions has got full mount now. Oh, well played there, and she gets back to her feet.
Back out there is truly remarkable.
There's no tell on that. She moved her entire body into that massive uppercut, and she is seeing the force of her heart.
Medallions lower jaw now starting to show signs of swelling.
Ready? I think so. You think so?
That was
yes, no.
nice strike.
Come on, are you ready?
Can't take that one. She has to do that. She has to chase
How
with
about
it.
those 5 minutes?
Let's go.
All right, so a lot of strike absorption by her in that previous round. She got stunned on the feet, but survives to see another round. Talk us through the replay, man.
You look at the action here. They're going back and forth, and boom,
we're in this
there
together.
goes that big strike
And every
that
time,
lands.
I
It
think
really
I'm
does hurt
trying
her
to be a
opponent.
good person.
She could not.
There's never a time I've done a big dose of psychedelics and not thought about something I did mean in 3rd grade, or like, I've got to be better. I have to be more patient. I can't lose my temper. Like, God, man, I really wish I wouldn't have lost my temper over X.
Yeah, that's the benefit of it.
I could have been way more empathetic on this. I was selfish, and I was busy, and I was stressed, and I
She
ignored this
continues to
person's
land a
cry
high
for
number
help.
of strikes here,
This
just
is
like
my
she did in the previous
we're
round.
that close
It's
to
one
not ever
thing to
having
be
to think about
aggressive,
those things
but
again.
also
I think
efficient.
we're that
She
close.
is
I
certainly
think we're
doing
that
that.
close to transcending what it means to be human. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's good.
You're saying through technology?
Yeah, because what we're getting with humans is the blues. We're getting Charlie Crockett, we're getting Sturgill Simpson. With humans, we're getting amazing voices. We're getting paintings that make you go, fuck. We're getting muscle cars like, dude, look at this thing. With humans, we're getting all this amazing stuff that we're also getting. We're also getting the fucking the housing scandal from 2008, the collapse. We're getting evil shit. We're getting demons. We're getting, the fucking. We could go down the line with medications and pharmaceutical drugs and chemicals and pollutants and all the different fucking scams that are running around in our education system. All of this is because human beings are capable of deceit. All of this is because human beings have these reward systems that are built in from this territorial.
Sometimes it's the strike you
and
don't
we're
see
all so
coming that
attached to
spells
those
your
things
fate.
because they make
And
great
ultimately it goes in the books as a
because
big knockout win.
because a chocolate milkshake is fucking delicious. Because I do like pulling into P. Terry's and ordering a double bacon cheeseburger on a boat. Look, it doesn't mean that this is the only way to go, and I think we have to abandon that. Just like you have to abandon the idea of not
to the
having
veteran
cell
voice
phone.
once more. He is Bruce Buffer.
There's going to be something that happens in our lifetime that allows us to communicate with each other in a different way. And I think it's going to be mind to mind, and I think it's going to be through this interface, and it gets really challenging. It's going to get really challenging as to how do you know whether or not that interface is controlled. Is there a decentralized system where we realize that the power structures that exist right now in terms of big tech, you cannot allow that? We've shown that they're terrible with censorship. We've shown that they're terrible with dictating narratives and with siding with corporate structures that are doing things that are absolutely detrimental to people's health and well-being. and they're doing it, and they're lying, and they're using bots, and so we know that exists right now. And if we have that controlling the mind, the hive mind of the world, that's not good. So it's going to have to be decentralized.
Theory, though, if I'm understanding, I want to make sure because we don't have telepathy yet. I want to make sure I'm understanding. I think I am. Like, I look at ChatGPT or any of these large language models, and they're a tremendous resource, and that is now the new Google. And that is where you research and get a lot of information and fact check things. And right now, you type it in a phone and you wait, you get an answer. In the future, I'm envisioning like Cyberlink or one of these companies implants something, and you're merged with that. So you think like the Matrix. I know Kung Fu.
100%.
I know Kung Fu.
100%.
You just downloaded Jiu-Jitsu app, and now you know Jiu-Jitsu.
And universal language. Universal telepathic language. I think that's on the agenda. And Elon's talked about that.
Amanda already has fucking headphones that she brought to Europe where you speak in one language, you give the person the other headphone, it tells them in English in their language, and then translates theirs to English.
Yeah.
It's literally there. It's just a freaking earpiece, though.
Yeah.
And it's in your ear. And imagine when that's just in your head and you're not even using words. You're just
how about
sharing an emotion.
How about we abandon all languages except a new one? The whole world.
Yeah. With the Piper stunt, come capture the hearts of hundreds of millions of renters. Everybody wants the secret to our success, but they're never going to get it.
I mean, that's probably the Tower of Babel, dude. That's probably how it went down. You see, when I read like these things like the Book of Enoch,
it is a women's bantamweight showdown between Valentina Shevchenko and Holly
like Holm. The Ezekiel story. I'm always like, what are they trying to say? Someone was trying to write something down. To dismiss it today as just fairy tales, and that's cute. I love how you're really smart and you're better than everybody else. That's great. Because that's part of the thing of being an atheist. Like, I'm smart. These are fairy tales. Like, okay, look, I don't really believe the guy came back from the dead. But what were they trying to talk about? Like, who was that guy?
I don't like people who are that definitive. You can't be that definitive. Right. Being atheist is just as arrogant as saying what was the saying? Like, there's 900 something religions, and if you're a Christian, you say all 899 are wrong. Right. Being an atheist is even more arrogant. You're literally saying everything's wrong and there's nothing. Like, I think there's got to be something.
I think there is something, but I think you also have to look at it through the lens of human beings. Because unfortunately, we are a dirty filter. And if you run the truth through us, the truth is going to get contaminated. If you have if you pour pure tequila through a filter that has cat shit in it, you're going to get cat shit in your drink. That's just how it works, right? So if you're a human being and you're telling a true story, and you're telling it for centuries before it ever gets written down, right? And then it gets written down in one language, it gets translated into another language, and then you get a couple of rabbis who decide way back, like, what year was it where they took the Book of Enoch out of the canon? Like, they decided because it was from a rival faction, from the Qumran people. Those are the ones who believed in Enoch. Those people, those guys are assholes. Let's get it out. So that one story that throws the whole, like, would they had to teach that in the Bible today? If you went to Sunday church and they were talking about the Watchers coming down and breeding with female humans and providing sorcery and metallurgy and teaching them agriculture, like, what are you saying? Like, what happened? Instead of this one very compelling story about Jesus Christ, which is very compelling, because there's no human beings historically, like if you're a Muslim, like some of the things that Muhammad did, a lot of people are like, hey, this is married at 9
very busy, but also super
hey, this is kind of crazy. Like, with Jesus Christ, it's very cool. Like, you have this insanely peaceful person in a time of ultimate chaos, where the Romans are literally taking people that they don't like and pegging them to a fucking cross. And then this guy decides he wants to die that way. And this is everybody's story that interacts with him. Nobody's like, oh, that guy was a piece of shit. Let me tell you, he fucked my sister, dude. I told him, just don't fuck my sister. Like, no, there's no stories like that. It's weird. The story is weird. The story of this guy who tells you universal truths that apply today. You know, treat everyone as if they are you.
Yeah.
and that he figured this out 2,000 years ago? I want to know who that guy was. Like, what was going on with that guy? Was that guy like the ultimate mushroom eater of all time? Did he figure it all out back then? And was he teaching these people that? Or was he an extraterrestrial? Was he what we think of as the son of God because he literally was born from another life form and brought down to Earth to try to help our humanity?
It's all fascinating.
It is very fascinating because anybody who's Christian, like, that's bullshit and blasphemy, and you don't know the canon. You're right. But you gotta throw the human being filter into the equation, always. Look, there's some things about the human being filter that are really fascinating. Like, one of the things that Wes Huff told us when he was on the podcast was explaining that the book of Isaiah from the Dead Sea Scrolls, which they didn't even know existed, when they translated it, they found out it is 1,000 years older than the book of Isaiah that was thought to be the oldest version of it, and they're identical, verbatim, word for word. So that's where it gets crazy, right? So there's something about once it's written down that the true devotees, and as long as you don't get some asshole rabbis decide, get that book of Isaiah out of there, or get that book of Enoch out of there. There's a few that were humans. The human cat shit filter gets in the way, and you get human interaction with this, and then you lose some of the story. What was the story, though? This is my take on all of it. There was something that happened, and we have this urge to deny that this something might have been some higher intelligence from somewhere else manipulating human genes. But we do it. I went to see the dire wolves last month. I went that. Insane. Insane.
Are they the same ones that are going to bring back the woolly man?
Yes. I went to see the fucking Game of Thrones dire wolves. They are so clearly not regular wolves.
Airwick's cordless essential mist diffuser is perfectly portable fragrance. It's great for trends too. It has a range of quick changes.
All right, so a nice job there defensively to raise the guard. And
come over, fragrant and smiling. Airwick, always fragrant, always smiling.
Her opponent is swarming, and this might be the beginning of the end. The ground and pound strikes continue to land it with.
She's landing it over and over again. She needs to make sure that when she's chasing the finish, she doesn't get excited.
Tough to take down, no problem. Oh, she's got as good a tie punch as anybody in this division, and she has gotten the tie for her.
She got the tie punch because she's so well versed in going and securing that position. Great job.
Well, she was a little bit hesitant in round
it is
one.
There's all people that are saying, technically speaking, according to my academy, this is not a real dire wolf. You've just manipulated a
you've
gray
exasperated
wolf.
traits of the dire wolf in a
You're correct. However, tell it to the dire wolf.
Yeah, she's so
that thing thinks it's a dire wolf. It looks like a dire wolf. It's going to behave. It's behaving like a dire wolf. My point is, we do that. We fuck with genes of animals all the time.
Well, even you're not talking about, look at our own genes. Look at our genetic growth of our brain, and we try to go back and say it's because we went to hunter-gatherers, and all of a sudden we burn meat, and then because we burn meat, our GI tract shrunk, and our GI tract shrunk, and the protein was absorbed, and our brains were able to grow. It still doesn't really account for how much our intelligence jumped in our brain capacity
over just a small amount of time. When you compare all the other animals, no other animal experience anything remotely like the doubling of the human brain size. We were already pretty fucking clever. Pretty clever monkeys. You know, monkeys have little languages. They tell each other when hawks are nearby. They scream. You know, they've shown that some monkeys will trick other monkeys into getting away from the fruit. They'll yell out that there's an eagle, and then those monkeys run to get away from the eagle, and then that monkey runs and gets the fruit. Yeah. So they have a language, they have deception, they're clever little fuckers, but they ain't shit compared to us.
Yeah.
You know, you go from monkey to Elon Musk, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Show me what you did. How'd you get here? How'd you get here? There's no one has an answer. You say, oh, it's natural selection, it's random mutation, like, maybe. Or maybe that book of Enoch's trying to tell you something.
There's so much stuff.
Ezekiel's trying to tell you something. Maybe that wheel within a wheel where this thing is coming out of the sky and you can't even understand what he's seeing. How come so many people have these? Just because I haven't had that experience doesn't mean that that's not a real thing that's happened over and over. There might be a reason why I haven't had that experience. First of all, I have too big of a platform and a big fucking mouth, and I'd probably ruin the whole party. But I wouldn't even, because no one would believe me. It would just be one more thing that you ridicule. And when you ridicule people for these experiences that you haven't had yourself, you gotta what if they're telling the truth?
Did Gary get into, because go back to like the telepathy tapes and the story with these nonverbal autistic children.
I should say something about that though before we go any further. Oz Perlman, who's a mentalist, he's very critical of that stuff, and he showed me what they're doing. And one of the things that he said, he goes, no, these women are touching their sons while their sons are like moving the words around. They're assisting, they're helping them. He goes, a scientist might not be able to see what they're doing. He goes, but a mentalist most certainly can. And Oz Perlman is fucking amazing at that shit. I mean, he did some tricks where I figured out how he did it. Jamie actually figured one of the things that he did out afterwards. Yeah, we don't need to tell anybody. We don't need to tell anybody.
I saw Jamie, Chris Ramsey was doing all this crazy, fucking amazing magician illusion shit, and Jamie's like fucking calling him out on everything he could figure out.
Well, Jamie's a little bit less. Let me tell you something though. Me and Jamie, when we watched David Blaine, we were like, "What the fuck did he do? Like, what did he do? How did he do that?" He was showing us card tricks off camera to my young daughter at the time. We were baffled. Jamie was watching him. His sleeves were rolled up. We're like, "What did he do?" Like, we watched it over and over and over again. I don't know how the fuck he did it.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
He's weirdly good at that shit. Like, weirdly good.
Yeah.
Where it's quite a mind fuck. But so Oz Perlman's, but he's not doing real magic. He's not a real sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
This is the point. There's tricks, and Oz was like, you should not account for any of that evidence that they're showing you. He goes, this is all like, there's a nonverbal communication between the mother and the son, but it involves touching. It involves like pointing and signaling. It's not as simple as the kid just figured it out. And then he showed us a video of it, and we were like, oh, I thought it was like the kid was in another room, no one was around him, they gave him the iPad, he knew what to write down because it was in his head, because his mom had seen it. It's not that simple. So maybe there's some that he's dismissing that you can't dismiss.
Well, I've heard Gary he breaks down a certain brain anomaly that seems to be consistent with UAP experiencers. Did he get into that?
No, he did not.
He's done like these brain scans and tests on military personnel who were trying to qualify for disability, and every single one of them have this brain anomaly. And his thing is the brain anomaly an antenna that makes you more receptive or able to pick up on these things, or did the encounter itself create the anomaly?
Ooh. Well, you got to do a double-blind, placebo-controlled test and have some kid wander through the desert for a couple of months, hopefully get abducted. But that's the other thing. They're not abducting. They're doing whatever the fuck they want to do. They don't really care about your agenda if they are a real thing, you know. And I don't know that they are. I don't know that these aren't just psychotic dreams that people have. I don't know, because dreams are very realistic, and dreams are often uniform. Like, a lot of people have dreams of falling. A lot of people have dreams of breathing underwater. Does that mean you're really breathing underwater?
I just look at it logically and say,
do you know what's faster than high-speed trains? URail's flash sale. 20% off rail passes this week. Buy now. Travel up to 11 months later.
Refresh the everyday with Mentos Gum. Yes to fresh.
There's so many inhabitable planets now in the cosmos, and if any of those planets ever had a head start on life a few million years ahead of Earth, then there's a statistical likelihood that life would have evolved into intelligent life over time. And with a big enough head start, you would have the technology if you don't destroy yourself. But what if the catch is if you don't destroy yourself? And what if the test is, does your society reach a level of consciousness that is non-destructive before you become an off-planet species?
Well, my fear is the only way to do that is through technology. My fear is that the only way to do that is to integrate with this great machine that we're creating right now, artificial general superintelligence, and that we're going to either have to merge or perish, and that we're going to choose to merge. And one of the one of the things that's probably going to happen to us is all of these things that we love, that we create with all of our imperfect human behavior. All those things are going to go bye-bye.
This could look ugly for the jiu-jitsu fighter.
That's my fear. That's why the gray aliens all look uniform. They look all the same, and they don't use their lips. They talk with their minds, and that's probably the future of the human race. It's probably why it's there. When you see that iconic image from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's something about that that makes sense. Because it seems like where we're going. He goes from, you know, ancient hominids covered in hair, short, fucking gnarled over, and fighting off predators, to some nerd who works at Google right now who's deciding, you know, whether or not trans fucking activists who are protesting this or that should show up in your Google feed. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's where. Well, where's it going after that? I think that's part of what's going on with like this confusion with gender and the fact that microplastics are killing everybody's reproductive systems, killing everybody's endocrine system. Significant drop in testosterone from the 1970s. Significant increase in miscarriages. Like, we're becoming non-biological sexual entities.
We're literally becoming Demolition Man. Do you remember the movie Demolition Man?
Well, yeah.
Dude,
we were criticizing femininity.
And at that time, it's like greetings and salutations.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has violence or anything.
We're criticizing normal femininity, especially like traditional wife roles, but we are celebrating women who assume roles in society of toxic men, which is CEOs. Yeah. We're celebrating a woman becoming more manly. We're celebrating men becoming feminists. We're celebrating men who are wearing that fucking BDSM outfit that shithead was wearing, and it's like he was posing with that outfit on, like, look at me, I'm free. Yeah. This is how I behave, and I want Hep B shots for all the babies. Like, we're a society that's lost its fucking way. Clearly, we've lost our way. And what better way to find our way than a little thing slip on over head when everybody's locked in and everybody's together in this. But who's going to control that fucking thing? It has to be decentralized. It has to be literally like connected to some sort of a hive mind blockchain. It's the only way it's going to work. It's never going to work if you have a corporation like Google or Meta or any other corporation that is censorship. Like, even these chatbots, ask chatbots about like racial statistics for homicides and things like that. They don't want to profile. They don't want to do that. They don't want to give you answers on things like that that are really inconvenient that people don't like.
You saw that crazy fucking software, that Israeli counter-surveillance software they just launched last week after that shooting? That shit's pretty scary.
What are you talking about?
There's a software that they're launching that tracks all the tweets.
Palantir? Is that what you're talking
it's
about?
tracking everything that people are messaging and DMing. The way I understand it, and the way they were saying it, is they're celebrating it as a good thing, but I'm thinking anybody in any chat room or any of that, it's starting to get like very minority report.
So every chat room,
if you're saying something that could be crazy, or in a DM, or in a chat room, or anywhere on the internet, or in Instagram, or in a private chat, supposedly this is combing all of the internet, social media, everything, to begin to assess mental health and predict analytics of seeing like if you could be a threat, and they would have been able to I'm like, then what the fuck are we headed towards? It's going to be like the statistical algorithm says that you have a 70% chance of committing a violent crime today. You're arrested.
And again, who's in control of that? The slippery guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Peter Thiel's a part of all that. But this is not a knock on Peter Thiel. No human should have the ability to have access to that information and decide who gets it and who doesn't. Yeah. No human should be able to decide whether or not you can connect to the hive mind of the entire human race and use a telepathic language. Israeli military creating ChatGPT-like tool using vast collection of Palestinian surveillance data.
Instead, decides to go back to her bread and butter, her striking, and certainly found the target there.
Can't take pictures now. She has to react. He has to go chase the finish.
Oh, straight right. Man, does she throw these hands seamlessly and easily, connects with another series of punches there.
She is one of the best boxers. UFC, and this is the reason why we say it every time she fights. Nice strike. There's no give on that leg kick.
Another shot lands upstairs.
When you've got smoke-free satisfaction, you've got the freedom to do things your way. Get $20 off your first 5 cans of Zyn when you take the Zyn 10 challenge.
Eventually, you drop the right hand.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Ooh, nice straight left hand. Man, she can hardly stand now. And if she goes, okay, that no, but you're going to see.
What is this, Palantir? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think it's Palantir, because what I heard is it's an Israeli-backed.
Okay, so this is, well, we should be real clear then, because I feel like I was talking about Palantir earlier, and we're going to get sued. So this is a different thing. Israeli military surveillance agencies use a vast collection of intercepted Palestinian communications to build a powerful artificial intelligence tool similar to ChatGPT that it hopes will transform its spying capabilities.
She did a great job of level changing, getting into her opponent.
Okay, according to sources familiar with the project, UNA began building the model to create a sophisticated chatbot-like tool capable of answering questions about people. It is monitoring and providing insights into the massive volumes of surveillance data that it collects. So that's what it's doing.
And I swear there was an article after that shooting that they're going to start using it and rolling it out here
we go. Round
to proactively protect us against potential threats. And I was like, that's just not good. That sounds terrifying.
And I guarantee they're not going to say a peep about SSRIs. How about that? It brings it all back to this connection. I bet they won't bring that part up.
Yeah. Nope.
So you got all your surveillance. Did you notice anything? Did you guys notice anything? You notice how Trump administration is silently employing Palantir to gather personal data of each American, raising privacy data misuse concerns. So this is a different thing. So what is it doing? This is totally different than the Israeli thing, right? Okay. No worries, but they're both kind of creepy. Gather personal data of American citizens from various federal agencies, sparking concerns over privacy and potential misuse of personal data. So what is it doing? How is it doing this? Does it say? Doesn't say how it works. Capabilities of data organization and analysis to potentially enable the merging of information from various agencies, thereby creating detailed profiles of American citizens. The Trump administration, but profiles curated by who?
Right? It says citizen data from the government, including bank accounts.
Go back to that.
Did you see that? It says bank accounts.
Guys. Who signed off on this? Is this already implemented? Let's say, okay, access extensive citizen data from the government databases, including bank details, student debt, medical claims, and disability status. Oh, you might be faking your disability, Brigham. You might have to come knock on your door. We don't like your tweet.
This is a spot where we've seen her have a
by the way,
wild success in previous
Graham Linehan, the guy who was on the podcast, got arrested when he went back to the UK. The guy who was on the podcast who was a beloved comedy writer from the UK, who was talking about the trans issue and how insane it is. Lost everything, lost his career, like getting sued constantly. Went back to the UK and they arrested him. They met armed police, met him at the airport and arrested him for tweets. For 3 tweets. If you go to my Twitter, I retweeted it. I retweeted the story. Will you go to that?
That's scary because we were headed that way.
Oh,
we were fucking headed that way.
Yeah, 100%, and we still could be, you know? And we still could be. And when people say, oh, you voted for fascism. No, I don't think anybody should be in control of this country. Okay? Any one person. But believe me, I don't. I don't think anybody's good at it. But I don't think you should let the same party that was propping up a dead man and was secretly doing shit behind the scenes, like using AutoPen to sign off on all kinds of executive orders that he didn't even fucking know what the details of were, which is explained we had that conversation with Mike Johnson, who literally didn't remember signing it or thought it was something other than what it was. I'm not in favor of keeping that. That's all it is, folks. And I am in favor of R.F. Kennedy. And I think a lot of the stuff Trump believes in, like making America a robust place where manufacturing booms, bring back American jobs, are positive. I don't like the coin. I don't like the Trump coin. I think that's fucking crazy. That's a crazy move. But is it illegal? I don't know. Are they all corrupt? I think they are. Graham Linehan has been arrested in Heathrow by 5 armed police officers. His crime was these 3 posts.
Busted ass face.
Look at these 3 posts. So click on it and we'll get to see. This is what he says: is if a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the balls. Comedy writer, also his opinion. Can't have that in the UK. So this one says, a photo you can smell, and it's all these people that are protesting. I don't know what the context of this is. The other one is, I hate them, misogynists and homophobes, fuck them. So these 3 tweets are a problem. So,
Alright, so a nice job there defensively to raise the guard and prevent any damage.
Those hands never leave where they're supposed to be, and if you do that, most times you will block the shot. That's
okay, there's one AI site builder you need to meet. This is dope tech from Wix. Now this whole flow is a conversation, so your words actually build your website. I'm going for a story, and after a free-flowing conversation, I get this detailed site view. And just like that, my first draft is ready. Now that's dope. Next, you can really get in there and style it your way. Here's the fun part. You can regenerate this whole thing over and over. Or you can tweak something specific, like your layout. Let me describe yeah, that's fine. If there was ever a time to speak life into your dreams, it's right now using the Wix AI website.
That'll certainly help that goal. Gets up again here, but hurting.
the idea of misogynists and homophobes. Wait a minute, no. These are people that are LGBTQ2+. I know a lot of gay people that think that the trans movement is homophobic because it's saying you're not gay, you're a woman.
2 minutes to go in round 3.
And you're attracted to men, but you're a woman. Well, if you just leave those people alone and don't cut their dick off, they're most likely will be gay. And there's data to show that. So a lot of gay people, including Tim Dillon, think of this movement as being homophobic. I know that's so counterintuitive right now. The idea of it being misogynistic. Well, how is it misogynistic? Well, what better way to harm women than to allow male predators to just tell you they're a woman? I'm not a wolf, I'm a grandma. Put on the bonnet, and now you're in the chicken coop. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And to say that you're protecting women, including trans women, it's like, that's a new thing. That's a new thing that you invented without taking into account perverts. You didn't take them into account at all. You didn't take into account sex offenders, and psychopaths, and mentally ill people. You just said all trans women are women. Well, you just opened up the door and gave a fucking free pass to psychos to wear a dress. And if you don't want to admit that, that's misogynistic. Because you're not really protecting women. Because you think you, by protect, well, we have to protect all women. Because trans women are women. No. That's a man.
Yeah.
That's a man, and you're using
it's
words,
so weird
using
that the whole world
sounds you
way.
make with your mouth to distort biological reality. And the guise is that if you don't do that, that you're non-empathetic. Well, that's crazy talk. That's crazy. And so that tweet is correct. While being a good person.
Did he have to stay in jail, or they let him go?
Bro, I don't know, man, but he had to go to the hospital because his blood pressure spiked. He went fucking crazy. He's a good guy, man. He's a sweetheart of a guy and like super successful in the UK. And he's been attacked because a lot of these people that are, trans-identified, a lot of these people, they have a lot of mental health issues. And there have also been people that have been fucked over by the system, including that last school shooter who said that they were upset that they got tricked into becoming trans. And they wanted to cut their hair off. They have all this hair. They wanted to cut it off, but they didn't want to give anyone the satisfaction of, like, showing that they were right, that you weren't really a woman.
It's such a weird topic because it's such a small percentage of society, but it occupies so much bandwidth in the public forums.
I think this is pure evidence that our interactions are being co-opted. And it's great evidence that this is the success of the programs that like Yuri Bezmenov talked about in the 1980s, where they were talking about demoralization. That the goal wasn't, the Russian goal in terms of what they were doing to America wasn't, let's make sure that Donald Trump wins, or let's make sure that Hillary Clinton wins. That was not the goal. The goal was to make people lose faith in all of these institutions, lose faith completely, demoralize them, keep them at each other's back, convince them all that they're racists and that they're homophobes, they're transphobes, they're this, they're that, they're Nazis and this. Keep them at each other's throats. That's why this thing has become so. But the problem is then kids get caught up in it because it becomes a part of the zeitgeist. It becomes a part of the culture. Kids wear bell bottoms. Kids do this. I'm non-binary. Like, they just jump in. They jump in because they want to be a part of a group. They jump in because they want to be noticed. And then they get rewarded. You're amazing. You're amazing. No one ever told them they're amazing before. Next thing you know, they're getting hormones. Next thing you know, they're on this road. And maybe they were autistic. And maybe they're just weird with social interactions. And you're tricking kids. That's a part of this. It doesn't mean that there haven't historically been people that feel like they're in the wrong body. I'm sure there have been. That is not this. This is a giant thing that's happening, and I think it's being manipulated. And I think a lot of it's social media manipulation, where a bunch of these people aren't even real people, and they're the most vocal and the most outrageous about it, and they're organized. You go to these rallies. Why does everybody have the same sign? Where'd you get your sign? Who made these signs? Why are they so good? Who's the sign guy?
Well, I do know all the counterintelligence stuff is that, China and a lot of these nations play the long game, right? They're in it 100%. For a 20-year run. They're not trying
100-year run.
Yeah,
What's the best way to do that? Demoralize America. Yeah. What's the best way to do that? Like, pay off all these fucking doctors, prescribe as much medication as possible. We have a lot of money in the pharmaceutical drug companies anyway. This way we profit. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's pay off all these politicians. Let's just be as demonic as possible and try to ruin this amazing experiment in self-democracy.
Scary.
Yeah.
It's a battle.
This amazing experiment in self-government that's really never been tried before, like we're doing it. It's a new thing, and this new thing...
Is working hard to manage migraine one big nope? It may be time to say yep to Vyepti. Vyepti is an IV infusion that helps prevent migraine attacks. Chronic migraine patients saw 23 fewer migraine days on average per treatment, and it's just 4 30-minute IV treatments a year. Don't take if allergic to Vyepti. Common side effects are allergic reactions, stuffy nose, and scratchy throat. Allergic reactions include rash, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, or throat, trouble breathing, hives, and redness of the face. Ask your neurologist about Vyepti.
Ever struggled to get a credit card when you have poor to no credit? Then you need to download Self. By opening up a credit builder account, you can gain access to your own secured Self Visa credit card and build credit along the way. Unlike other traditional credit cards, there is no hard pull or score needed to get one.
Also coincides with this other new thing. And this other new thing is the internet. And the internet is awesome and scary, and it's being used by scumbags and brilliant people. Everyone is all swimming around in this sea of ideas, and at least according to some people, 80% of it is bots.
That part's nuts.
That part's
nuts.
Well,
and then with large language model, I keep saying chat. With any large language model, I mean, man, when you interact with them, and it even shows up on my feeds, I see, they know how to target us. They know they know how to capture my attention, and it's like. Now I showed Amanda a video the other day, and she's like, "Oh, that's AI," and I had to do like a double take because I was kind of like half paying attention.
Yeah.
But it was 100% all AI generated. I'm like, "Damn, man."
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do in another 18 months? Like, you're not gonna know what's real.
You're not gonna have any idea.
I see them doing ads for you all the fucking time. Shows up on my feed.
I know.
You Huberman.
I get people to call me out.
And the only reason I know it's bullshit is because I know you're not advertising for that, and I know Huberman's not advertising for that, and I'm like, I don't even know how they can legally get away with it. I mean, I think they get hammered, but...
We go after them, and we have them take them down, but sometimes they don't listen. And
they took one of our podcasts. It showed up on YouTube. It was one of our podcasts. I don't even remember what you were saying, but it was you breaking down something to do with waste well and how it's helped you, but it wasn't waste well. They plug in their like product.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers.
These motherfuckers, man. They do it with everything. They do it with some sleep apnea mouthpiece. They do it with all kinds of shit, man. They just, this, like, people, different rappers will have me saying that they're the best rapper ever. And they put it up on TikTok to try to get some clout. It's wild, man. We're in a wild time. But again, we're experiencing great change. And it doesn't go easy. And that's why there's so much chaos. But you can't lose your humanity in all this, folks. This is the trap. And this is the trap that's being accentuated by social media. This tribal trap of thinking that the other side is evil, and to combat them, you have to be evil. And you have to be super mean and shitty because it's justified because those people are fascists or those people are Nazis. Like, that's a trap. It's all a trap.
I can tell you 100% industry. I witnessed it when I testified at the federal and the state level. Industry is attempting to separate and divide us, to turn things into issues that aren't anywhere related.
Right.
This is about racism. This is about sexism.
Yeah.
It's all a ploy to divide and conquer. Because if we're fighting each other, we're not united, and we can't fight industry. But the real evil empire is all these people pulling the strings and ramrodding agendas that are killing millions of Americans every year.
Yeah, and they're doing it for profit. And that
big push, man.
Good combination there by
that's probably demonic. I mean, the idea of what demonic
here tonight, DC.
She's doing a great job.
What are evil thoughts? I think there's this constant battle because that's the only way you get better. That's what I think. I think on a macro level, like when you just thinking about life, right? How do you get strong? You get strong by working out. So you have to push yourself so you're weak. Like you can't do another push-up. And that's how you get strong at doing push-ups. It's the only way. The only way to get really good is to combat evil. You don't just get good. Like there's no reason to be good. Like it doesn't matter. Like everybody's good. Everybody's fine. Life is boring as fuck. You have to have some evil, and you have evil so that you realize that good is so much better. It's a so much better choice. But the choice is not just in like on a societal level. The choice is you on an individual. And there's moments in your life where you can decide whether you're going to be evil or you're going to be good. Or maybe you decide like, hey, what I did I don't like. I feel evil. I feel like I should have done it. And then you have to realize like that that's a part of growth. It's a battle. And this battle is what we're experiencing right now, but my fear is that there's a lot of us that are unaware of the actual full impact of all of these other factors that aren't really people. These bots and corporations and propaganda and how they're like that fat guy arguing with you on that video.
Yeah.
That's a gaslighting motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't listen to you if you look like that, if you're telling me about health.
Yeah.
Period. Like, get someone who looks like Huberman.
Yeah.
Get someone who looks like he can fight in the UFC tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? I'll listen to that guy, because he's
it's
fucking
like you don't eat a
healthy.
Meal from a skinny chef. Like,
yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
the things people say, it's like, if you have an obese doctor who's not taking care of themselves,
Please give a round of applause for Mark Carr.
Hello.
It's not an attack on obesity. It's hard for me to trust your decision making.
Hold on, though. Philip Franklin Lee is thin. And he's one of the best fucking chefs alive.
Yeah, it's true. Philip broke the mold.
He broke that mold. But he had to get thin. He got to get healthy.
Yeah, we helped him.
I know you did.
We helped him lose his shitload of weight. I think he's lost 20 pounds, but then also we uncovered a bunch of toxins in his system. Mm-hmm. He posted about it the other day.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is from when I started to now.
Yeah.
And you can see it in his blood work. All of these different contaminants are now at like physiological normal levels where they were at spiked levels before. Like microplastics was one of them.
Yeah, microplastics are a big one. And the problem is it goes into your brain. Do you know most people have like a plastic fork, like a fucking picnic fork sized amount
Literally
of microplastics?
5% of our brain by weight is microplastics. That's insane. We're like, what's causing depression? I don't know. It could be this, or this, or this, or this.
So this goes back to what I was saying is going to happen to us. If I was, I mean, obviously, I got to say it, but I've already said it, but I just got to say it so you know I'm not Peter Thiel. I love us. I love humans. I love Peter Thiel. He's a nice guy. My interactions with him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's evil. I don't think he is. I think all of these factors that are destroying our endocrine system, making us less sexual, all these confusions, society and culture and chaos and war, all of it is leading us to this leap. That the only way to escape all this awful stuff that's on this side is to transcend. And you transcend by integrating with whatever the fuck we're creating right now. This Manhattan project that's going on right now between OpenAI and Grok, and they're fucking sabotaging each other and stealing data. You hear about that guy that left Grok? And he downloaded the entire Grok database and then fucking sold it to ChatGPT.
No.
All right, coming up next, it's a women's bantamweight tilt between Chris Cyborg and Holly Holm.
Yeah, I've been holding it. I've been chugging water. So.
Okay, go ahead, P, come back.
All right.
We'll find that. The sweet relief of P. But, so that's what I think is happening to us. I think we're becoming some new thing. I think it's going to happen way quicker than we like. While no engineer sold Grok to OpenAI, Elon Musk AI sued a former engineer, try saying that, for allegedly stealing Grok's secrets before leaving xAI to join OpenAI. So Elon tweeted that he downloaded, xAI accuses Lee of downloading a large amount of confidential information in the full code base for Grok shortly before and after his resignation. Internal investigations revealed that Lee allegedly uploaded the stolen code database to OpenAI servers. So they're doing that, and then also I think OpenAI had a situation they believe that Chinese...
But she lands another
some Chinese scientists had access to their data. Like something happened where there was some sort of a breach of security, and they're pretty sure that China got access to all the stuff that they're doing. So, see if you can find that story. Because I just butchered that. But they're, of course, doing that. Of course they're doing that. Why would they not do that? If they've done that with everything else, why would they not do that? OpenAI takes down ChatGPT accounts linked to state-backed hacking and disinformation. State-backed threat actors from a handful of countries are now using ChatGPT for illicit purposes ranging from malware refinement to employment scams and social media disinformation campaigns, OpenAI said this week. Jesus Christ. Of course they're using ChatGPT to scam people. Of course.
I just look at all the ways it's going to impact society, from jobs and everything. We're going to live in the craziest of times.
Go back to that. Look at stirring the social media pot. OpenAI said it banned dozens of accounts it saw using ChatGPT to bulk generate social media posts consistent with the activity of a covert influence campaign or operation. Many of the China-based accounts issued prompts in Chinese and sought responses in English on a variety of topics, including the shutdown of U.S. aid, various sides of divisive topics within U.S. political discourse, backlash towards Taiwan, Pakistani activist who has publicly criticized China's investments in Balochistan. Would you even I've never thought that was a real country? That seems like that sounds like something that Game of Thrones guy would have done. The account sought to create social media comments in English, Chinese, and Urdu that were found being posted on TikTok, X, Reddit, Facebook, and other social media platforms. We know that this is going to happen, right? We know that China has AI, Russia has AI, we have competing, there's Meta AI, there's Google Gemini, there's Grok, there's xAI, there's ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. There's a ton of them. There's Perplexity, there's a whole bunch of different AIs that are constantly right now in competition to see who creates God.
Well, so what you were saying earlier about the evolution of humanity and the direction we're headed, AI and that component, and there's that technological component, but there's also all the shit we're unlocking with CRISPR, and the direction we're headed, and we can now edit your genes, and I could edit your genes with CRISPR to
experience an empowered ecosystem designed to deliver actionable insights that inspire growth and sustainability, so you can see further, innovate faster, accomplish more. That's the Connect effect.
Onyx Off-Road is bringing you the ultimate multi-day off-road adventure.
We've secured the best adventures across the U.S., Canada, and Baja to map epic routes with scenic campsites, connected trails, and breathtaking views.
Many rugged adventures are ready to roll with more dropping every month. Grab the details, add them to your account, and hit the trails. Don't see one near you? Stay tuned, we're just getting started.
Check out the landing page and find your next adventure today.
That one appeared to land flush.
Change, so essentially we would take a male sperm, a female egg, we create a clone, and we literally replicate that clone multiple times down the chain. And we can now edit in roughly 20 points of IQ. So through CRISPR, you can edit somebody's intelligence by 20 IQ points. That's the difference between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Albert Einstein. Now what if you do that 3, 4, 5 generations down?
You're being so kind to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You would be able to create superhumans. I don't know, but that's what it said in what is it? The gene editing. I don't remember which gene.
Is Arnold a genius?
No, the difference, the big jump though is just 20 IQ points to be Albert Einstein.
Right, but what's Albert?
I don't even know. This is in Hacking Darwin. The book Hacking Darwin explains all this and the direction we're headed and how you would be able to essentially.
Got in jail. Is that whoops? I don't mean to do that.
And they're editing genes to create super intelligent humans.
They're saying they're inoculating them from HIV. Who's getting HIV? Shut the fuck up, bitch. And they just accidentally got smarter.
And so then the problem becomes, go back to like ADHD in schools and stuff in the 80s, when everyone starts creating, little superhumans, and everyone's going to look back, almost back to Demolition Man, what we were talking about. You create a baby in a test tube because you can edit out all the gene defects and all the issues in your genetics and optimize that child's success at living a healthy, happy life and minimizing chronic disease. But here we can make them twice as smart, of course. And then everyone's going to do that, of course. And if you don't, China does, Russia does. So then where does America have to be? We have to counterpunch.
The thing is, they're probably already doing it. And the thing is, like, China's so advanced with so many different technologies right now that most people are just not aware. They're not aware. And someone was describing it about how, God, I wish I remembered the podcast it was on, but this guy was talking about how essentially what goes on in China is, say if they want to get into solar panels, if like they start producing solar panels, the government will get involved and say, we want you guys to make the most awesome solar panels. And then they have this Shark Tank of people competing to see who develops the best solar panel company, and only the best ones are going to survive. And it's all funded by the government. It's a very smart idea. And through that, they've developed the best drones, definitely the best electric cars. Out of nowhere, China has the best electric cars. Like by a mile. Like by a country mile, dude. There's nothing even in America. Even if you have like one of those
Alright, so a lot of high-level striking in that last round, but
we definitely do. But that's a different thing, right? But when it comes to technological innovation, they're way ahead of us. So if they're ahead of us with that, if they run the same game on AI while we're all battling it out with each other and stealing each other's data, they're probably running that same game over there. And if they really did steal all the ChatGPT database, did China have access to ChatGPT, to OpenAI's database? Was it speculated that there was some sort of a breach?
Big kick land.
Nice 1-2 there.
I was reading too that China's beating us in the arms race of energy infrastructure to be able to actually implement this level of AI.
Not only that, they're running around on AI talking about the problem of climate change, and we need to do this, we need to do that.
Whatever, you fucking still suck, bitch.
In China. It's like they're playing this multi-level game, and they're using all of our cultural hotspots.
Go back to Hades, you fucking trap bitch.
prayer in schools, and you think it's organic. You think people are really fighting in the street for all these things, but it's not. Other countries want